one of the other questions that we had talked about was in relation to Guru Nanak Sikhs and Guru Gobind Sikhs. And what I mean by that is some people often say, well, Guru Nanak, he taught universality, you know, oneness, no religious kind of structure. And then Guru Gobind Singh gave us this very specific lifestyle and a path that was very specific. Like, what's the difference? You know, is that like a difference between Sikh and a Khalsa? A Sikh being like not necessarily wearing a turban, how we think, but...
Okay. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. You know, personally, I relate to Guru Gobind Singh's Bana. You know, that's personally how I relate. But those Sikhs who walk the path of Nanak, there is nothing wrong with that either. You know, it just attracts a certain part of them. And I think it just depends on, you know, where you are at. But, you know, here's an interesting thing. My shooting teacher, who's the most military guy I'd ever, you know, he is like Mr. Macho. He's in Iraq right now doing his thing. He relates to Guru Nanak. And that's where he finds all of his support is from Guru Nanak. Like Guru Gobind Singh is too potent for him. He'd just become insane because he does that all day, you know, and that's his life. And when we've had him at different of our Jop Sab camps and stuff, it just puts him right over the edge. It's like, but Guru Nanak cools him and brings him into a balance. So everybody's different. And if they, there really is no difference between being a Sikh of Guru Nanak or a Sikh of Guru Gobind Singh. That's ridiculous. It's all the same light. So there is no difference between them.
Well, it can be confusing because the concepts are seemingly contradictory, right? Like Guru Nanak is like against whatever, you know, form. And he created a form and told you to follow it. Yeah, except in Jop Sab, he says God is the one who has no dress. God is the one that has no form. So in Jop Sab, he does the exact same, he says just the opposite. That's Guru Gobind Singh too. What I don't want to do on the video is say, you know, if you don't dress in Bana, then you're not a Sikh. I don't want to say that. And there are lots of people that have short hair who consider themselves Sikh. And they are, even Guru Gobind Singh wrote a Rahat to the Sahajdari. Really? Yes. Look it up, it's there. He addressed, the word Sahajdari came from him. It's in the Rahat, it's in the Rahatnamas that were written at the time of Guru Gobind Singh. So it's not in his Bani, but it's in the Rahatnamas. So there has always been that element. And if you really believe that Sri Guru Granth Sahib is the Bani of truth, then what about all those yoga students who are in the path of accepting the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, but haven't put on a turban? Are they Sikhs or are they not Sikhs? Are they part of the Chanvik Kaur or are they not? Are they your brother or are they not? These are really, really potent questions, and I don't know that they should be answered. You know what I mean? Because if you say those people are Sikhs, then I feel that I am not doing justice to those of us who are making the sacrifice of really walking the path, right? If you say they are not Sikhs, you're really not doing, then you're just bogus like everybody else. So how do you answer that?
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just about like looking at those perspectives and realizing that it's a lot more deep in so many different perspectives. And
it's really vast. I look at Guru Hargobind, who when he was in his army, he didn't have Sikhs, and it wasn't just Sikhs. In fact, it was this incredible mix of Muslims and Hindus, and it was really just macho guys. That's who he accepted into his army. You had to be macho. That was Guru Hargobind. And, you know, Guru Gobind Singh accepted many people. However, he created the Khalsa for a reason as well. And that we know, I believe it was for, you know, I personally believe it was something he created
not only for that time and the survival of that time, but for the future. Because any time that the Sikhs have gone to a period of very few people, and we think we're in a crisis now, but we're actually in the bloom of, you know, growth as a Dharma. When you look back at the 1900s when the British had almost snuffed us out, almost. They came within not 500 people of snuffing out this Rahat, of making it like, you know, the pygmies in the jungle, that, you know, there aren't any more of them. It was our Rahat that got us through, you know, that it was the fact that we were baptized as Khalsa that got us through. So there is such a value to that core. But if you think for 1 minute that that core is more valuable or more Sikh than the followers of Nanak, then you've lost your purity right then. Because then your ego has come into play, your humility's out the door, and you've lost the game the minute you even say that. So it takes a higher approach to it, and I don't really, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of angles and aspects, and you have to look at all of them. You know, Sri Singh said, if you don't see God in all, you don't see God at all. And that, I think, really is the answer to that.